Hello and welcome back. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to leave everything behind and start again in a country you've never lived in? Today, I want to tell you the story of Carlos. Carlos isn't famous. He's not a millionaire. He's not one of those people you see on social media claiming they arrived with $20 in their pocket and now own 10 investment properties. He's just an ordinary person. And maybe that's exactly why his story matters. Because for every extraordinary migrant success story, there are thousands of ordinary people quietly building a better life one day at a time. Carlos is one of them. Carlos grew up in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a city full of life, busy streets, football everywhere, street food vendors, traffic that never seemed to end, family gatherings that could last all day. For most of his life, everything was predictable. His family lived nearby. His friends were nearby. His work was nearby. Life wasn't perfect, but it was comfortable. And comfort can be a strange thing. Sometimes comfort gives us peace. Sometimes it prevents us from growing. As Carlos entered his late 20s, he started asking himself questions. The kind of questions many people ask when life becomes routine. Is this it? What else is possible? What would happen if I took a chance on myself? Around the same time, he started watching videos about Australia. At first, it was just curiosity. Beautiful beaches, modern cities, stories of migrants building successful lives. The more he watched, the more interested he became. Eventually, he started researching visas, then jobs, then housing, then salaries. What began as curiosity slowly became a dream. But dreams are easy. Making decisions is hard. For nearly 2 years, Carlos went back and forth. One week, he was determined to move. The next week, he convinced himself it was too risky. After all, moving countries isn't like changing jobs. You're leaving behind everything familiar. Your family, your friends, your support network, your routines, the places that feel like home. For a long time, fear kept winning. Until one day he realized something. If he didn't try, he would spend the rest of his life wondering what might have happened. And that question bothered him more than the fear of failure. So he made his decision. Australia. The day he boarded the plane was exciting. His friends wished him luck. His family hugged him goodbye. Everyone was smiling. But underneath those smiles was sadness. Nobody knew exactly when they would see each other again. Carlos tried to stay positive. But as the plane lifted off the runway, reality started to sink in. His old life was no longer ahead of him. It was behind him. When he landed in Sydney, everything felt new. The roads, the buildings, the accents, the public transport. Even simple things felt unfamiliar. The first few days felt like an adventure. Every migrant knows this feeling. Everything seems exciting at first. You take photos of everything. You explore constantly. You tell your friends back home how amazing everything is. But then, normal life begins. And that's when the real journey starts. Carlos quickly realized that starting over isn't easy. Back in Brazil, he had experience. He had confidence. He knew how things worked. In Australia, he was starting from scratch. Employers wanted local experience. Recruiters wanted Australian references. People used expressions he had never heard before. Even though he spoke English, understanding conversations wasn't always easy, especially when people spoke quickly, or used slang, or joked about things he didn't understand. For the first time in many years, Carlos felt uncomfortable. And uncertainty can be exhausting. The job search became frustrating. Application after application. Interview after interview. Many received no response. Some ended with polite rejection emails. A few seemed promising before disappearing completely. His savings slowly started shrinking, and with every passing week, the pressure increased. At night, he would lie awake thinking, did I make the right decision? Should I have stayed in Brazil? Was this a mistake? These thoughts are more common than most people realize. Many migrants experience them. Few talk about them. The loneliness was perhaps even harder. Back home, there was always someone to call, someone to meet, someone who understood him. In Sydney, that wasn't the case. Weekends felt different. He would see groups of friends laughing together, families having barbecues, people living lives that already seemed established. Meanwhile, he felt like an outsider looking in. He wasn't homesick every day, but there were moments. A family birthday he couldn't attend, a holiday celebration happening thousands of kilometers away, a phone call from his parents that ended with silence because nobody wanted to say how much they missed each other. Those moments were difficult, but something interesting happened. Instead of giving up, Carlos adapted. He started attending networking events. He joined local social groups. He accepted invitations he would normally decline. He pushed himself outside his comfort zone. Slowly, things started changing. One conversation led to another. One contact led to another. One opportunity led to another. The progress wasn't dramatic. It wasn't the kind of success story that goes viral online. It was slower, more realistic, more sustainable. Eventually, Carlos secured a role that matched his skills. Then another opportunity came. His confidence started returning. The city felt less intimidating. He stopped needing maps everywhere. He developed routines, favorite coffee shops, favorite walking routes, favorite places to meet friends. Sydney slowly transformed from a destination into a home. A few years later, Carlos looked around at his life. He had built meaningful friendships. He had career opportunities he never imagined. He had traveled across Australia. He had grown professionally and personally. Most importantly, he had become stronger, not because life became easier, but because he had learned how to navigate uncertainty. And that's something migration teaches people. When you leave everything familiar behind and rebuild your life from scratch, you discover strengths you never knew you had. Today, Carlos still misses Brazil sometimes. He misses family gatherings, the food, the culture, the familiarity of home. Those feelings never completely disappear. But he has also built something valuable in Australia. A new chapter, a new community, a new future. And if you ask him whether the journey was worth it, he doesn't even hesitate. His answer is yes. Not because every day was perfect, not because everything worked out immediately, but because he gave himself a chance to grow, a chance to experience something bigger than the life he already knew. And perhaps that's the lesson from Carlos's story. Most life-changing decisions don't come with guarantees. You won't know exactly how things will turn out. You won't know every challenge you'll face. You won't know every opportunity waiting around the corner. Sometimes all you can do is take the first step and trust yourself enough to figure out the rest along the way. So let me leave you with a question. 5 years from now, when you look back on your life, what decision will you be most proud of making? And perhaps an even more important question, what decision might you regret never making at all? Before we finish, I want to leave you with one final thought. Every year, thousands of people dream about moving to Australia. Some are students. Some are skilled professionals. Some are simply looking for a new beginning. And while there is plenty of information online, sometimes what people really need is a conversation with someone who has actually been through the journey themselves. Someone who can tell them what worked, what didn't, what they wish they had known before they arrived. That's one of the reasons we're building this community. To connect people who are planning their move with people who have already built a life here. Not migration agents, not salespeople, just real people sharing real experiences. So if you're thinking about studying, working, or building a life in Australia, and you'd like to speak with someone who has already walked that path, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your story. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be telling your story too. Until next time, take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.